First Contact and Deception. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Terran Defense Station Archer, watching the massive Meridian warships emerge from hyperspace. Their crystalline hulls caught the sunlight, creating prismatic displays that would have been beautiful if they weren't attached to vessels designed for planetary subjugation. "They're certainly not trying to hide," Lieutenant Rivera commented beside her, dark eyes tracking the formation of ships that had materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system. "Why would they?" Chen replied, keeping her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Meridians have conquered 17 systems in the past decade. They don't believe they need stealth. The massive ships moved with precise coordination, their formations so perfect they might have been computer-generated simulations rather than actual vessels. Leading them was the Meridian flagship Eternal Dawn, its hull easily twice the size of Earth's largest battleship." Chen's comm unit chimed. "Commander, Priority 1 message from Strategic Command. Put it through to my neural link." The familiar tingle of the direct neural connection preceded Admiral Hassan's voice in her mind. "Operation Wooden Horse is green-lit, Commander. You know what to do." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Understood, sir. Initiating Protocol Omega." She turned to Rivera. "Send the prepared response to their hail. Make sure our transmissions show the appropriate amount of fear and confusion." The Meridian Empire's first contact protocols were well known: arrive in overwhelming force, demand immediate surrender, and offer protection in exchange for total submission to Imperial rule. Those who refused faced orbital bombardment until they changed their minds. But humanity had been preparing for this moment for years. As Rivera transmitted their carefully crafted message of panic and disarray, Chen watched the tactical display. Hundreds of smaller signatures appeared around Earth: civilian ships, defense platforms, and military vessels, all seemingly scrambling in disorganized patterns. The Meridian response was quick and predictable. Their flagship transmitted a message in perfect universal standard, their translation matrices having already decoded Earth's languages from intercepted broadcasts. "People of Earth," the message began, "I am High Commander Vextal of the Meridian Empire. Your world has been chosen to receive the Empire's protection and guidance. Resist, and you will be destroyed. Submit, and you will be elevated. You have one planetary rotation to declare your surrender." Chen nodded to Rivera. "Send response package Alpha. Let's show them exactly what they expect to see." The lieutenant's fingers danced across his console, transmitting the prepared data burst. To Meridian sensors, it would appear as a chaotic mix of military communications, civilian panic, and governmental confusion. Hidden within that carefully orchestrated chaos were packets of corrupted data specifically designed to seem like transmission errors. "They're scanning our defense networks," Rivera reported. "Their probes are hitting all the decoy systems." "Perfect." Chen watched as the Meridian ships began spreading out in their standard containment pattern. "They're following the playbook exactly as intelligence predicted." "How are the shadow systems holding up?" "Clean, Commander. They're only seeing what we want them to see. As far as their scans can tell, we're a pre-FTL civilization that barely managed to colonize our own moon." The truth was far different. Humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel decades ago, but had kept it carefully hidden. When their long-range sensors first detected the Meridian Empire's expansion, Earth's leaders had made a crucial decision: appear weak while secretly preparing for inevitable contact. For years, every transmission leaving Earth had been carefully curated. Every satellite and defense platform visible to outside observers was deliberately outdated. The real defense grid lay dormant, hidden behind quantum camouflage fields reverse-engineered from captured Meridian tech. "They're launching scout ships," Rivera announced. "Standard Imperial pre-invasion pattern." Chen nodded. "Deploy the bait. Let's give them something interesting to find." Across Earth's orbit, automated platforms began broadcasting signals mimicking badly hidden military communications. The scout ships would find exactly what they were looking for: evidence of a primitive civilization attempting to conceal its defensive capabilities. Commander, Rivera's voice held a note of amusement. They're transmitting their findings back to the flagship. They think they've found our primary defense control center. Have they now? Chen allowed herself a small chuckle. How fortunate for them. Admiral Hassan will be pleased. Phase 1 is proceeding exactly as planned. The defense control center the Meridians had discovered was a masterpiece of deception. Every piece of technology it contained was deliberately outdated, every security measure designed to be impressive, but ultimately futile against Meridian capabilities. When they eventually attacked it, they would find exactly what they expected: a primitive civilization's best attempts at defense. They would never suspect that Earth's true defense command was buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, protected by technologies that would make even the Meridian Empire's scientists pause. High Commander Vextal is requesting to speak with Earth's leaders, Rivera reported. Diplomatic channels. Right on schedule. Patch it through to Conference Room 3. Let's give them the show they're expecting. As Chen walked to the conference room, she couldn't help but smile. The Meridians were about to learn a costly lesson about underestimating humanity, but that revelation would come later. For now, they had a performance to deliver. The conference room's holographic projectors sprang to life, displaying the image of High Commander Vextal. The Meridian commander was impressive, 3 meters tall, with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes arranged in a pattern that humans found distinctly unsettling. Commander Chen, Vextal's translated voice held the perfect mix of condescension and false concern. I trust you understand the gravity of your situation. Chen activated her own holographic presence, carefully projected to appear slightly fuzzy, as if Earth's technology was struggling to maintain the connection. High Commander, please. There must be some mistake. We are a peaceful world. We have no quarrel with your empire. There is no mistake, Commander. The Empire has chosen to extend its protection to your world. Already our scans have detected numerous threats to your civilization that you are too primitive to recognize. Submit to Imperial rule, and we will guide you to greatness. Please, we need time to discuss this with our world government. Surely you can give us more than one rotation to make such an important decision. Vextal's secondary eyes narrowed, a sign of annoyance in Meridian body language. You have the time allotted. No more. Choose wisely, Commander Chen. The Empire's patience is not infinite. As the transmission ended, Shan allowed her diplomatic mask to fall away. Rivera, signal Admiral Hassan. Tell him the fish took the bait. All pieces are in position. The next 24 hours would be crucial. The Meridians would analyze every transmission, every scan, every piece of data they could gather. And everything they found would reinforce their belief in humanity's technological inferiority. They would never suspect that their very analysis was being carefully guided, that every discovery was a breadcrumb leading them exactly where humanity wanted them to go. Let the game begin, Chen murmured, watching the Meridian ships looming in Earth's orbit. Let's show them why you should never judge a species by its infrastructure. The art of misdirection. The 24-hour deadline was approaching its end, and High Commander Vextal was growing impatient. The massive bridge of the Eternal Dawn hummed with activity as his officers analyzed the constant stream of data from Earth's increasingly frantic communications. Their military vessels are attempting to conceal themselves behind their lunar colony, Strategic Officer Kelmar reported, her crystalline interface glowing as it processed the sensor feeds. Rather primitive attempt at stealth. Vextal's primary eyes focused on the tactical display while his secondary set monitored his crew's reactions. Show me their fleet movements. The holographic display shifted, showing dozens of human vessels making what appeared to be desperate attempts at coordination. Their movements were erratic, their formations constantly breaking and reforming with no discernible pattern. They're like water insects skittering across a pond. Kelmar observed with barely concealed disdain. No discipline, no coherent strategy. But something about the humans' behavior bothered Vextal. In his centuries of service to the Empire, He had overseen the subjugation of many primitive worlds. Fear was predictable. Panic followed patterns. This felt different. Status of their primary defense center, he demanded. Their attempts to shield it are failing, his technology officer reported. Our sensors are detecting increasing power fluctuations. They appear to be attempting to bring additional systems online, but their power grid is clearly insufficient for their needs. Aboard the Terran Defense Station Archer, Commander Chen watched the Meridian Fleet's positions with satisfaction. They're clustering their heavy warships exactly where we predicted. Status of the quantum net. Lieutenant Rivera checked his readings, ready to deploy on your command. All nodes are in position and cloaked. The Meridians haven't detected a single one. Chen allowed herself a moment to appreciate the elegance of humanity's trap. The apparently random movements of Earth's ships had been carefully choreographed over months of planning, designed to herd the Meridian fleet into optimal position while appearing completely chaotic. Message from the fake defense center, Rivera announced. They're broadcasting their desperate final preparations. Very convincing performance from the AI running the show. Chen nodded. The defense center that the Meridians had discovered was a masterpiece of deception. Every piece of technology within it was real, but carefully selected to paint a picture of a civilization struggling to match the Empire's capabilities. The artificial intelligence running the facility had been programmed to make increasingly desperate attempts to improve its defenses, each attempt revealing exactly what humanity wanted the Meridians to see. Time, Chen asked. 17 minutes until their deadline expires. On the eternal dawn, Vextol's patience was wearing thin. Open a channel to their leaders. Let us see if they have come to their senses. The holographic projector sparked to life, showing what appeared to be a hastily assembled group of human leaders. Their transmission quality was deliberately poor, with occasional static and interference. High Commander, Chen's hologram flickered slightly. We need more time. Our world government is deadlocked. Some nations are calling for resistance, while others. Your time is expired. Vextol interrupted. You were warned. The Empire's generosity has limits. Please, you don't understand. Our weapons may be primitive compared to yours, but we will defend ourselves. We. Vextol cut the transmission with a gesture. Battle stations. Prepare to commence orbital bombardment of their military installations. Target their defense center first. High Commander. Kelmar's voice held a note of concern. I'm detecting unusual energy readings from their lunar colony. Irrelevant. Their technology is barely able to maintain stable fusion reactions. Proceed with the attack. The Meridian fleet moved with practiced precision, their formation shifting to bring their main weapons to bear on Earth's apparent defenses. Massive energy weapons began charging, their crystalline housings glowing with contained power. Sir, Rivera's voice was calm as he addressed Chen. The Meridians have taken position. All their capital ships are within the quantum net's field of effect. Chen opened a secure channel to Admiral Hassan. Admiral, we are go for Phase 2. I repeat, we are go for Phase 2. Acknowledged, Commander. You may proceed when ready. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. Chen's fingers hovered over her command console. Years of preparation, billions in resources, and countless hours of planning had led to this moment. Deploy the quantum net. Let's show the Empire why appearances can be deceiving. Across the space surrounding Earth, hundreds of previously invisible nodes activated simultaneously. A web of quantum energy sprang into existence, enveloping the Meridian fleet before they could react. On the eternal dawn, alarms suddenly blared. High Commander. Kelmar's voice was sharp with surprise. Unknown energy field detected. Our weapons systems are. They're being quantum locked. Vextol rose from his command chair, all four sets of eyes widening as he watched his fleet's weapon systems shut down one by one. Impossible. Their technology is a deception. Chen's voice came through clearly now, all pretense of primitive communications gone. Did you really think we wouldn't notice your empire's expansion? That we wouldn't prepare? The quantum net pulsed, and suddenly the space around Earth seemed to shimmer. Hidden defense platforms appeared, their weapons already locked onto the Meridian ships. The lunar colony's surface rippled as advanced shield generators emerged from quantum camouflage. But our scans... Kelmar's voice trailed off as new data flooded her displays. High Commander, we're detecting technology far beyond what they showed us. Some of it exceeds our own capabilities. Chen's hologram appeared on the Eternal Dawn's bridge, crystal clear and steady. High Commander Vextal, allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. We've been expecting you for quite some time. Vextal's scales shifted colors in a display of barely contained rage. You dared deceive the Empire. Oh, we did more than deceive you, Chen replied. We studied you. We learned your tactics, your protocols, your assumptions about primitive species. And then we used them against you. Right now, your fleet is trapped in a quantum containment field. Your weapons are locked down. Your engines are next. As if on cue, the Meridian ship's engines began to sputter and die, leaving them floating helplessly in space. Impossible, Vextal snarled. No primitive world cold. That's exactly what we wanted you to think, Chen interrupted. Your empire's greatest weakness is your arrogance. You see what you expect to see, and we gave you exactly that. A carefully crafted illusion of a primitive world, while we prepared our real defenses. The tactical display updated again, showing dozens of advanced human warships emerging from Quantum Cloak. They had been there all along, hidden by technology that the Meridian Empire had never even theorized possible. Now then, Chen's voice carried an edge of steel beneath its professional tone. Shall we discuss new terms for our relationship with the Empire? I believe you'll find we're prepared to negotiate as equals. Digital warfare. High Commander Vextal's bridge had descended into barely controlled chaos. Officers rushed between stations as warning signals flashed across their crystalline displays. The mighty Meridian fleet, pride of the Empire, floated powerless in Earth's orbit. Get me a status report, Vextal demanded, his scales shifting to a deep purple of rage. How are they accessing our systems? Chief Technology Officer Minra's hands flew over her console, crystalline interface fragments scattering with each failed attempt to regain control. High Commander, they're not just accessing our systems, they're already inside them. Have been for months, possibly longer. Explain. Vextal's voice was dangerously quiet. The corrupted data packets in their transmissions, Minra's secondary eyes closed in resignation. They weren't errors. They were targeted infection vectors, specifically designed to exploit vulnerabilities in our quantum processors. Every scan we performed, every transmission we intercepted, they were feeding our systems more of their code. On the Terran Defense Station Archer, Commander Chen watched the Meridian fleet's struggles with satisfaction. How's our little program doing, Dr. Nash? Dr. Alexandra Nash looked up from her quantum interface station, her dark eyes gleaming with professional pride. Better than expected, Commander. The virus has achieved approximately 87% penetration across their fleet's networks. Their attempts at quarantine are amusing. Nash was the architect of humanity's digital warfare campaign against the Meridians. For 3 years, she and her team had worked to understand and exploit the Empire's supposedly impenetrable quantum computing systems. Show me their command and control network, Chen ordered. The main display shifted, showing a complex web of quantum data pathways. Most were now highlighted in Earth's colors, indicating human control. The few remaining Meridian-controlled pathways flickered weakly as they tried to isolate themselves. Their architecture is fascinating, Nash commented, making minute adjustments to their attack algorithms. Highly advanced, but remarkably rigid. They never conceived that someone might fundamentally alter how their quantum processors function. Aboard the Eternal Dawn, Minra's report grew increasingly dire. High Commander, we're losing control of critical systems across the fleet. Life support is still secure, but weapons, propulsion, and defense systems are being systematically locked out. How? Vextall demanded. Their technological level was assessed as barely capable of basic quantum computing. That's what they wanted us to think. Minra replied, her scales paling. The humans have developed quantum manipulation techniques we've never seen before. They're not just hacking our systems, they're rewriting the fundamental rules our technology operates on. As if to emphasize her point, the Eternal Dawn's main lighting suddenly shifted to Earth standard illumination. The ship's automated announcement system began playing human music, a classical piece that Chen had personally selected for its dramatic effect. Commander, Rivera called from his station on the Archer. We're detecting attempts at quantum encryption evolution from their secondary vessels. Should we shut them down? Chen glanced at Nash, who shrugged. Let them try. It's interesting to see their adaptive capabilities, and they can't break free of our quantum lockdown anyway. The Meridian attempts at resistance were indeed fascinating. Their ship's quantum processors attempted to generate new encryption protocols, only to find that the humans had already anticipated and prepared for each variation. You see, High Commander, Chen's voice came through clearly on the Eternal Dawn's comm system. While you were scanning our obsolete defense platforms, we were analyzing every aspect of your technology. Your quantum processors are impressive, but they follow predictable patterns. Patterns we learn to exploit. Vextall's response was cut off as his personal command console suddenly deactivated. Across his bridge, more systems began shutting down, replaced by human interface protocols. Impossible, he whispered. Our quantum security protocols are based on universal constants. They cannot be broken. Cannot be broken by conventional means. Nash's voice joined the conversation. But we didn't break them. We changed how they interact with space-time on a fundamental level. Your processors still think they're operating normally. They just don't realize they're processing our instructions instead of yours. In the space around Earth, the Meridian fleet hung motionless, their once mighty ships now little more than expensive sculptures. The quantum net pulsed with energy, maintaining its absolute control over their systems. Dr. Nash, Chen called, demonstrate for our guests what their weapon systems can do under our control. Nash's fingers danced across her interface. Suddenly, every weapon system in the Meridian fleet powered up, but instead of their normal deadly energy signatures, they began generating a spectacular light show, painting Earth's orbit with harmless but impressive displays of color. A reminder, Chen transmitted to the fleet, that we could have used those weapons for less peaceful purposes. Consider this a demonstration of both our capabilities and our restraint. On the Eternal Dawn, Minra made one final attempt to regain control. Her efforts resulted in an elegant fractal pattern appearing on every display surface of the ship, accompanied by a message in perfect Meridian script. Resistance is both futile and unnecessary. Shall we discuss peace? Vextall stared at the message, his worldview crumbling around him. The Empire had encountered many species, conquered many worlds, but never had they faced anything like this. The humans hadn't just defeated them. They had fundamentally undermined everything the Empire believed about their technological superiority. High Commander, Chen's voice was professional, but carried an unmistakable note of triumph. I believe it's time to contact your superiors. Earth is prepared to negotiate terms for peaceful coexistence with the Empire, but those negotiations will proceed with the understanding that we are equals, perhaps more than equals, given the current situation. The message was clear. Humanity had not just resisted the Empire. They had completely outmaneuvered them on every level. The age of Meridian expansion had come to an end, not with a battle, but with an elegant demonstration of superior human ingenuity. The tables turn. The Imperial High Council's holographic projections flickered into existence on the Eternal Dawn's bridge, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and barely contained fury. High Commander Vextall stood before them, his scales now a muted gray of defeat. Explain. First speaker Rix Era demanded, her crystalline crown pulsing with angry light. How the most powerful fleet in the Empire's history now floats helpless above a supposedly primitive world. Before Vextal could respond, Commander Chen's hologram materialized beside him. Perhaps I can answer that, first speaker. I'm Commander Sarah Chen of Earth's Defense Force. The council members' secondary eyes widened in shock at her unannounced appearance in their secure channel. Chancellor Kovor leaned forward, his ancient scales darkening. How dare you intrude upon? The same way we intruded upon your fleet systems. Chen interrupted smoothly. Your quantum encryption is impressive, but fundamentally flawed, much like your assessment of humanity. Dr. Nash's voice came through the channel, though her hologram remained absent. Currently, we have control of approximately 94% of your fleet systems. This includes life support, though we have no intention of using that capability unless forced. The council chambers erupted in overlapping voices until Rixera raised her hand for silence. You claim to control our fleet, yet you make no aggressive moves. Why? Chen smiled. Because this isn't about conquest, first speaker. This is about recognition. Earth desires peaceful coexistence with the Empire, but as equals, not subjects. On the Archer, Lieutenant Rivera monitored the quantum net status. Commander, they're attempting to launch a counter-intrusion through their auxiliary communication arrays. Let them, Nash replied from her station. They should see what they're really up against. The Meridian counterattack hit Earth's defenses like a wave hitting a titanium wall. Their most advanced quantum algorithms, the pride of imperial computer science, encountered human defensive systems that operated on principles they couldn't even comprehend. Fascinating attempt, Nash commented, watching the attack dissolve. They're trying to use quantum entanglement to bypass our firewalls. Show them response protocol Omega. Across the Meridian fleet, every system suddenly displayed the same message, written in elegant imperial script. Your quantum entanglement algorithms are based on a limited understanding of multidimensional physics. Would you like to see how they're supposed to work? The demonstration that followed left the Imperial technicians in stunned silence. Their own quantum networks began operating at efficiencies they had thought theoretically impossible, guided by human protocols that rewrote the fundamental rules of quantum computing. As you can see, Chen addressed the council. Humanity has surpassed your understanding of quantum mechanics. We've been watching your empire's expansion for years, preparing for this moment. Impossible, Chancellor Kovor whispered. Our intelligence reports were exactly what we wanted them to see. Chen finished. Every transmission you intercepted, every scan you performed, every piece of technology you observed was carefully crafted to maintain our deception. Even now, you're only seeing a fraction of our true capabilities. As if to emphasize her point, new defense platforms emerged from quantum camouflage around Earth. These weren't the primitive installations the Meridians had detected earlier. They were examples of technology so advanced that the Empire's sensors couldn't even classify them. Commander, Rivera called out, we're detecting power spikes from the Imperial Palace on Meridian Prime. They're attempting to activate their emergency defense grid. Chen nodded. Dr. Nash, show them why that would be unwise. Nash's fingers danced across her interface. Suddenly, the palace's own defense systems began transmitting their complete technical specifications to Earth's command center. The message was clear. Humanity's reach extended far beyond this single fleet. 3 years ago, Chen explained to the stunned council, we recovered a damaged Meridian scout ship from the Kuiper Belt. Instead of announcing our discovery, we studied it. We learned your language, your technology, your tactics. But most importantly, we learned your weaknesses. The council members shifted uncomfortably as Chen continued. Your empire's greatest flaw is its rigid hierarchy. You assume that technological advancement must follow a specific path. You judge species by their apparent level of development, never considering that they might deliberately hide their true capabilities. What do you want? Rix Era asked, her voice carrying the weight of an empire suddenly discovering it wasn't as dominant as it had believed. As I said, peaceful coexistence. Earth will not be conquered, but we're not interested in conquest ourselves. We propose a treaty. The Empire acknowledges Earth's sovereignty and agrees to cease its expansionist activities against non-aggressive species. In return, we'll share some of our technological insights. You would give us your technology? Kavor asked suspiciously. Selected aspects of it, Chen clarified. Consider today's demonstration of our quantum computing capabilities as a sample of what cooperation with Earth could offer. We believe the Empire's experience in galactic administration combined with humanity's innovative approach to technology could benefit both our peoples. Nash's voice added, "Of course, if you prefer, we could simply demonstrate what would happen if we fully deployed our quantum intrusion protocols across your entire territory. We've had access to your networks for months. This fleet was just a proof of concept." The threat hung in the air, made more powerful by its subtle delivery. The council members exchanged glances, their scales shifting through colors of uncertainty and concern. "You understand," Rixera said carefully, "that the Empire has never negotiated from such a position before. Then consider this an opportunity for growth," Chen replied. "Humanity has much to offer the Empire, but only as partners, never as subjects. The choice is yours, adaptation or obsolescence." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The mighty Meridian Empire, which had expanded unchallenged for centuries, had finally met its match, not in military might, but in human ingenuity and deception. Victory through innovation. The Imperial High Council's emergency session stretched into its third hour. Representatives from across the Meridian Empire watched in stunned silence as evidence of humanity's technological superiority continued to mount. "Let me be absolutely clear," Dr. Nash's hologram addressed the assembly, displaying complex quantum algorithms that made the Empire's best scientists gasp. "What you've seen today represents only a fraction of Earth's capabilities. We chose to demonstrate our superiority through computer systems because it was the most elegant solution. We could have chosen other methods." Commander Chen stood beside her, watching the council's reactions. "During our years of preparation, we developed numerous countermeasures against Imperial technology. The quantum net was simply the most peaceful option." Chancellor Kavor, his scales now a pale blue of resignation, leaned forward. "You speak of peace, yet you hold our fleet hostage and infiltrate our most secure networks. How are we to trust your intentions?" "Consider our actions," Chen replied. "We could have disabled life support systems, weaponized your own defenses, or exposed the Empire's secrets to every species you've subjugated. Instead, we chose to demonstrate our capabilities in a way that caused no casualties." On the Archer's command deck, Lieutenant Rivera monitored the quantum net status. "Commander, the Empire's outer colonies are attempting to mobilize their defense fleets." As expected, Chen nodded. "Dr. Nash." Nash's fingers danced across her interface. Throughout Imperial space, colonial defense systems received a simple but effective demonstration. Their most advanced weapons powered up, performed an elaborate but harmless light show, and shut down, all without local input or control. A reminder, Nash transmitted to the colonial governors, that distance is no barrier to Earth's influence over your technology. First speaker Rixera's hologram stood, her crystalline crown pulsing with complex emotions. "You have made your point, Commander Chen. The Empire acknowledges that we underestimated humanity's capabilities. What are your terms?" Chen's expression remained professional, but carried a hint of satisfaction. As previously stated, recognition of Earth's sovereignty, cessation of aggressive expansion, and establishment of diplomatic relations as equals. In return, we'll share selected technological insights that will benefit both our peoples and our fleet. Vextol spoke for the first time since the council session began. "Will be released once the treaty is ratified," Chen answered. though I suggest the Empire carefully consider its future first contact protocols. Not every species displays its true capabilities openly. The council chambers erupted in discussion. Centuries of imperial doctrine were being rewritten in a single day. Species that the Empire had dismissed as primitive might be hiding similar capabilities. Every assessment, every conquest, every assumption had to be reevaluated. "There's another option you haven't considered," Chen added, silencing the chamber. "The Empire's experience in galactic administration, combined with humanity's innovative approach, could create something greater than either of us could achieve alone." She gestured, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the council chamber. It showed a new vision of galactic civilization, one where imperial efficiency merged with human creativity, where technological advancement served cooperation rather than conquest. "Your empire has maintained stability across 17 systems," Chen continued. "That's admirable. But imagine what we could achieve if we combined your organizational capabilities with humanity's talent for innovation. Instead of conquering primitive species, we could help them develop naturally, guided by experience, but not constrained by imperial doctrine." Dr. Nash added her own perspective. "Your quantum computing systems are impressive, but rigid. We've shown you how they could be improved. That's just one example of how cooperation would benefit both sides." On the Archer, Rivera reported an incoming transmission. "Commander, we're receiving requests for technological consultation from 23 Imperial research facilities. Apparently, our demonstration has sparked some interest." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Route them to Dr. Nash's team. Let's show them what cooperative development looks like." The council's deliberation was shorter than anyone expected. Faced with irrefutable evidence of humanity's superiority, and intrigued by the possibilities Chen had outlined, they voted unanimously to accept Earth's terms. "Let it be recorded," First Speaker Rixera announced, "that on this day, the Meridian Empire enters a new era. No longer shall we judge species by their apparent level of development. No longer shall we assume technological superiority equals the right to rule." As the council session concluded, Chen turned to Nash. "Begin powering down the quantum net. Let's show them we keep our word." Throughout the Meridian fleet, systems gradually returned to local control. The mighty warships, humbled but undamaged, regained their functionality. But something had changed. The Empire's unshakable belief in its own supremacy had been replaced by a new appreciation for the unexpected. A final thought Chen transmitted to the fleet. "Today's events should serve as a reminder that appearance and reality don't always align. Humanity chose to reveal ourselves through technological superiority, but we could have remained hidden, advancing further while the Empire continued believing we were primitive." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "Remember that the next time you encounter a seemingly primitive species, they might just be waiting for the right moment to show their true capabilities." As Earth's defense platforms retracted into quantum camouflage and the Meridian fleet prepared to depart, humanity had achieved something unprecedented: victory without destruction, dominance through innovation rather than force. The age of imperial expansion was over. A new era of cooperation and mutual development was beginning, shaped by the day humanity taught the galaxy's greatest power that true superiority lies not in the technology you display, but in the wisdom to know when to reveal it.